If you're someone that just got laid off or fired from their job, you're gonna have to watch this video so you can see the next steps you need to take to make sure that you actually land back on your feet. So I understand it's a very sensitive time for you right now. You're probably very emotional. You're either mad or sad, or you're thinking about how are you gonna pay for rent or your bills. And I need you to just pause. Before you make any decisions, you have to understand what are your options, what are your resources. Can you apply for unemployment? What does your severance package look like if you get one? When's your last paycheck? Make sure that you document everything you did at the company. Write it down on a piece of paper. You need to slow down. You need to understand what you have, what situation you're in. You need all the information before you start making decisions. A lot of people just jump straight into searching for jobs, jump straight into the job market, but we cannot do any of that right now if you do not have the information. So take a second, look through the materials that you have, and try and see what are all your available options. Once you have clarity on when your last day is, how much you're gonna get paid, when your last paycheck is, etc., that's where you can start making decisions. Once you get to that point, what you're gonna have to do is redefine what you want your career to look like. You may have entered into corporate as a data analyst, but now you're in a whole new job market. You need to treat it like such. You need to understand what is the jobs that are in demand. How well do you align to those jobs? What companies are companies that you have previous relationships with? How often do they hire? Do you know anyone at those companies? You need to really map out all of your options. You need to really research what is out there. You cannot apply blatantly to 150 jobs. You're just not going to get the results you want to see. The most important thing you can do right now is actually go to Excel or even on your phone and notes something and make a list of the most important people in your life. And I'm not talking about friends or family. I'm talking about people that can help you find a job. Do you know the CEO of a company? Do you know the CFO of a company? Do you have a coworker that works at another company that's high up that has hiring potential? You need to make a long list of the people that you know, right? And you need to reach out to those people and you need to let them know, hey, I'm looking to transition to another job. Are there any opportunities that you're aware of, right? You need to have a list of people. If I'm gonna be honest with you, this would be the quickest way for you to get a new job. But the only way you can do this is if you have a large network. So part one of this is building a long list and making sure that there are people that can really help you with your job search. Part two is actually finding new people to add to this list. That means going on LinkedIn. LinkedIn's gonna be your best friend during this period. You're never gonna say, hey, I'm looking for a job when you reach out to people on LinkedIn. Instead, you are going to say, hey, I really like your background. I think that you're doing things that I'm really interested in doing in the future. Would love to connect. The reason you do not want to start a message on LinkedIn or start a call with someone and just immediately say, hey, I'm looking for a new job, can you help? Is because you want to build a genuine relationship with these people. The reason you can do it with your first initial list, hopefully, is because you have close relationships with those people. If you don't have close relationships with those people, you have to do the same thing. Hey, how you been? It's been a while, let's reconnect. Don't ever directly ask for a job because they're gonna tell you no, or they're gonna tell you they don't know, or they're gonna tell you it's not the right time. Or maybe you get lucky and they say, yes, there is something open, you should apply, right? But that's more unlikely. You have to build genuine relationships and be authentic and organic. And if they so happen to have a job that's hiring, then that's what you need to do is obviously you need to apply. If they don't have a job that's hiring, it's perfectly fine because that's not why you reached out to them. You reached out to them to just get to know them. You reached out to them so that you can build genuine connections with them. So guess what happens? When they do have something that pops up, they're thinking of you because you're someone that they authentically met that just so happens to be looking for a job. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't mention that you're looking for a job. I'm just saying do not introduce the topic to them that way. So don't just go on LinkedIn and say, hey, I'm looking for a job. Don't do that. When you're on the phone with them, don't just say, hey, I'm looking for a job. Don't do that either. You have to build genuine relationships. Ask them about their background. How did they get to the company? Do they like the company? Where do they see themselves going in the future? Etc., etc., etc. Then at the very end, you say, hey, look, I actually am looking for some positions. Do you know of anything in mind? And that's all you have to say, right? You don't have to go in depth and tell them how you got fired and laid off. Unless you're really close to them, because it will make you seem like you're only reaching out to them for a job, and you never want to come off like that. And I'm sure if you've been employed long enough, you've come across people on LinkedIn that messaged you because they saw an open position at your company, and they said, hey, I see that there's an open position. I'd love to have a 15-minute call. And you probably looked at them like, no, like you're not interested, because it was so transactional. You're like, no, that just doesn't seem right. It's not genuine, right? What happens if you get the job? You're gonna forget all about me, right? You have to learn how to build authentic relationships with people. That is what's gonna help you get a job. So if you just got laid off or fired, I'm trying to tell you, take a second to breathe. Take a second to figure out what you want to do. What are your resources? What is your severance package if you get one? How do you apply to unemployment? Figure all of that out, and then go from there. And you can actually go into starting to build relationships with individuals, using your previous relationships to try and help you get a job. But I'm gonna be honest with you, if you just go in and start applying to 50 or 100 jobs, you're gonna be disappointed, and it's just not gonna be the best use of your time. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you need help getting out of unemployment, make sure to reach out. I do one-on-one consultations with individuals. I've helped a lot of people get jobs. I can help you as well. So thanks for listening, and make sure you stay in scope.